Hey folks, this is Derek with the Grumpy Guy Show. This is episode 9, Gimme, Gimme, Gimme. We're going to talk about a few things, some parties that are kind of curious as to what they're for and why they're here, governors and government, as well as Disney Plus. Stick around, stay tuned, and enjoy. Good evening, folks. Welcome to the Grumpy Guy Show. I'm Derek McAllister.
And I'm Ryan McAllister.
We got a fun-filled episode for you tonight. Gonna be some good stuff.
Fun.
And there he goes again, acting like we're in the video podcast with the air quotes.
I don't care, as long as you can see it.
Well, that doesn't do the listeners any good.
Good for them. Sounds like a them problem.
Alright, so let's dive right into it. You got the first one there, bud.
What is the point of gender reveal parties?
I don't know, just to get attention.
I mean, I guess so. They're so... I don't understand how they got so popular either. Are people just trying to find a reason to throw a party?
Pretty much. You know, what the heck? I mean, why do they need a reason? Just have a party, but, you know, this way they can use that as a way to get gifts. Gimme, gimme, gimme. I need attention. I don't know. So why exactly does it bug you so much?
Why does it bug me? Because people have been joking about how people are looking into the fires in Northern California to see if it's blue or pink. There's truth to that. And I find it stupid how everyone's just looking to find if something's blue or pink, whether there's a party there or not at this point.
And, you know, some of the bad part with it is some of the gender reveal things actually they use a spark of some kind to actually explode, which means out in California you're taking a chance at actually starting a wildfire. They're in a serious drought situation out there, and it's worse now, especially because their temperatures are so high. You know, they're looking at temperatures that are up in the 3 digits. It's not like, you know, just a little warm. It's really warm for this time of year, and they're just not getting any rainfall. So it's just gotten worse. But I agree. These gender reveal parties are just
pointless.
Yeah, and like I said, I think it's really about gimme gifts. Gimme, gimme,
agree.
gimme. Me, me, me. Look at me. I'm over here.
Yep.
Yeah, well. All right. So I guess I shouldn't have taken my glasses off because I can't see the screen. The problem is they're basically reading glasses, folks. So I look across the table and I can't see Ryan with the glasses on, but I can't see my screen without them. So it's kind of goofy. And they're not the real thin ones that, you know, you slide down to the bottom of your nose. They're normal glasses. Yeah, well. So, next thing we got.
What do we got?
They're making things up. Now, I just saw this on the news. They were talking about some new movie, I think of Black Widow or something like that. Is that the name of a new movie?
Yeah, it is. It's the latest Marvel movie.
So they're talking about how that broke all kinds of box office records around the world. It got 80 million this place, and it got 60 million in the United States, and it got 60 million from Disney Plus.
Disney Plus shouldn't count.
Exactly my point. It shouldn't count. Why shouldn't it count? Because
it's a streaming service, not theaters.
It's a streaming service that you pay a single flat fee for. So it's not
like if you count home video releases.
You know, it's not like they can say, well, these people signed up just to watch this. Exactly. Or these people paid to watch just this and they can't watch anything else. No. You pay a monthly fee so that you can watch everything that's available on the stupid service.
Yeah.
And now these people, they made $60 million from it. How do you know? Nobody signed up just for that. And if they did, they got real problems. Of course, so many people got real problems now anyhow. Like our governor.
Oh, goody.
You're telling me, oh, goody. Come on, this is your story.
Yeah, I know. Recently I saw Governor Cuomo say that he wanted to do to gun violence what they had just recently did to COVID-19.
So we got vaccines coming for gun violence?
Yeah, apparently.
Oh, wow, that'll be interesting.
I know.
I wonder how that's going to work. How do you put a needle into a gun?
I don't know, but they figured it out. What most people on Twitter were taking it as was they were thinking that he meant that they're going to start shooting up nursing homes.
Yeah. It's just crazy. Let's just make something up just because. Yeah, the worst part is the guns aren't the violent thing.
It's the people.
Yeah. You see all these memes all over the place. Oh, I left my gun out on the porch and people went walking by for hours and nobody got shot. Yeah, because the gun isn't going to pull the trigger on its own.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a person to do that, and it takes a person who's actually purposely doing it. The problem we have are people who get these guns illegally. And guess what? I don't care what laws you pass. They're still going to get those guns.
Illegally.
Exactly. They're going to get them illegally. And, it's just going to continue on. And what it's going to mean is law-abiding citizens are going to be the only ones without guns.
Exactly. Look at the UK.
Sooner or later, it's going to end up in the courts. And the courts are going to say, well, sorry, there's a law that states that you can't take away part of the Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
So
unless you amend it again.
No, they can't. You can't reverse the amendment. It's the way the laws are written. You can't actually...
You can reverse an amendment with another amendment. I mean, how did Prohibition go away?
They didn't reverse... They didn't do another amendment. They abolished the amendment. I believe.
Yeah, exactly. I believe they did it with another amendment.
I don't know.
The 18th Amendment was Prohibition, and the 21st Amendment was getting rid of Prohibition.
Well, that's something for you to look into and bring it back next week.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to make a note to follow up on that, because that would actually be interesting to know. Because but the right to bear arms, that's an amendment? I thought that was part of the Constitution.
It's the Second Amendment.
Okay.
It's the Second Amendment to the Constitution.
Okay. So that's...
The Bill of Rights are the first 10 amendments.
All right, so that's just me being dumb. But still, they get it into the courts, and they're going to have a very, very hard time actually proving that any law abolishing gun rights is going to pass Constitution.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what judges are in there. They have to go by the law, not their own opinion. They can't use their opinion that, oh, guns are bad. They have to say, well, the Constitution says
they have to, but that doesn't mean
you have the right to bear arms.
But that doesn't mean they won't throw their opinion in there.
Yeah. They do that to a point. But to a point, they also do the job they're supposed to do.
Nobody can hide their biases.
No, not completely. But there have been situations where they've gone against their own opinions.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was the right thing to do. So you get a few of them here and there.
But in today's political climate...
In today's political climate, it's all about, following your party and what your party wants you to do.
And that's why I'm glad that Supreme Court justices aren't allowed to be a part of political parties.
Well, they may not be
Publicly,
allowed, but I guarantee that they're still following them.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the ones that were put in there by, individual presidents, and I guarantee that they're following along with the political party that put them in there.
Yep.
It's just the way it goes. Not supposed to be, but
Specific presidents I can think of that would put super biased justices on there. Our most recent 2 presidents, not including our current one, who hasn't gotten a chance to fill a seat yet.
Yeah, and the thing, I think what happened with Trump is he rushed after Ruth Bader Ginsburg died. Mm-hmm. He rushed to fill her seat, thinking, I'm going to get somebody in there that's going to follow my opinion. And they haven't really followed his opinion. They've done what they're supposed to do.
What he wanted throughout his presidency was just a bunch of yes men.
Yeah.
And he didn't get them.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, he didn't.
The prime example would be his own vice president.
Yeah, his own vice president, to the dismay of many people, did the right thing. Mm-hmm. And he followed his job, which was to certify the election results, plain and simple. Not saying it was right, not saying that they were 100% right or not, but the way the Electoral College works, the electorate can vote any way they want.
Yep.
So it doesn't matter. Trump could completely and totally win New York State. Not that he did.
And there's no chance he would unless he were a Democrat.
He could completely and totally win it. The electoral votes don't have to follow that. Mm-hmm. All they have to do is say, no, I don't like that. Mm-hmm. And there was actually a time when a group of them, who were the last to vote, knew that their vote didn't matter, actually did just that.
Yeah, there were plenty of faithless electors in the 2016 election.
This was back in, I think it was either the 70s or the 80s, something along those lines. Their votes truly didn't matter. It didn't matter which way they voted, so they said, I'm going to prove a point, and they voted against the popular vote of their state.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was in the 80s, because, Reagan was going to win pretty much no matter what.
Yeah, I don't remember when it was, but it was, by the time it got to this particular group, there was no chance it was going to sway anything. Yeah. So they did it to prove a point, and the problem is, just like most everything, it's lost in history.
Yep.
Nobody pays attention to it, so...
Well, nobody nowadays really pays attention to history at all.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, when things just get lost so quickly. Mm-hmm. Just like our next topic.
Ooh, what do we got?
So it seems that there's several states that have decided that they're going to sue Google.
Can state governments actually sue companies, private companies?
Yes, they can.
Really?
Yes. They've done it many times. So they've decided to sue Google for monopolistic behavior. Mm-hmm. Do you know what this monopolistic behavior is?
What?
It's the use of the Google App Store, the Google Play Store. So their thesis, and it's very, very flawed.
Not surprising.
Their not thesis, their premise is that in order to have Google services on the phone, a manufacturer has to actually have all of Google's services on there, which includes Gmail, Chrome, and
whatever,
all that stuff has to be included. Mm-hmm. So these states are saying, "Oh, that's a monopoly. You're acting monopolistic. People don't have a choice." Okay, but
hello, Apple's right over here doing the same thing.
Exactly. And here's the biggest difference between Apple and Google on this. So, Apple completely locked down. Mm-hmm. No choice. You have to use that. But you look at Google. So Android is open source. Mm-hmm. Look at what Amazon has done. There's the Amazon Fire tablets. There's the Amazon Fire Stick. those are Android-based devices. The Alexa, Android-based. Oh, sorry if anybody's actually listening to this. I might have just set off your thing. So we have to remember this. Most podcasts, they do Madam A or Miss A, something like that, when they're referring to that device. And then when they're referring to the device from Google, they say stuff like, hey G, or something along those lines, just to make it so that it doesn't trigger it.
It doesn't go off, yeah.
So, gotta remember that. Not that we have a lot of listeners, but
no,
gotta remember that. So,
gotta be prepared for if/when we blow up.
Yeah, that's a big if. So, at any rate, Amazon, they've gone through and they've created all these devices. They've also created their own app store. Which, guess what?
What?
You can actually sideload onto a Google device. I could put it on my Pixel device. I could put it on your Motorola. Any Android device. You can actually sideload the Amazon App Store and get apps from there. Instead of using Google's store. But if you have an Amazon device, guess what? You don't have the Google store because Amazon doesn't have Google services available. So there's a huge hole. Without even bringing Apple into the picture, there's a huge hole in in the argument from the States.
Of course.
Because even without the App Store, even without Amazon's App Store, you can sideload an app. There's a place, it's run by XDA developers, which is a huge, they are huge when it comes to Android development.
Yeah.
Very well respected. They have what they call the APK mirror, where they actually have almost every single application that's available on the Play Store available to download from them and install on your Android device. No Google services or anything needed. You just go there, you can download it, sideload it on your device. And sideloading, just to be clear to anybody who doesn't know, you go into the menu, you set yourself up as a developer, and then you say allow third-party apps. That's it.
That's it.
No exaggeration. It would take 30 seconds to be able to do this. How do I know? Done it before. I used to use Amazon's App Store because they gave away a free app every day.
That's nice.
I don't know if they still do it. I haven't used their App Store in a while, but they gave one away every day. Or maybe it was once a week. I can't remember now, but so that's why I used it, because at the time I was like, well, I'll get a free app. They were actually paying the developers, so it's not like the developer was losing out. The developer actually had a choice. It wasn't like they just said, oh, well, you want to be on our App Store, we're giving this away for free. No, they gave the developer a choice. The developer could say, no, I don't think so. But most of them said, yeah, because they want the exposure. So that's a huge hole. But then, like you pointed out, you bring Apple into the picture. You cannot sideload an app on an Apple device.
Really?
Can't be done.
At all?
There used to be a thing that they called jailbreaking, which it's the equivalent of gaining root access on an Android device. The thing is, as soon as you jailbreak an iPhone, you've voided your warranty. Completely and totally voided your warranty. And there's no way to get it back. With Android, if you root the phone, you can unroot the phone. And then the manufacturer never knows that you did that. But with Apple, no. They know that you did it. So, people don't do it because they want the warranty. They want the upgrades, because when you root the phone on Android, I can't remember if an upgrade leaves the root access or if it just won't upgrade. But either way, no problem. You don't even have to install the upgrade if you don't want to. You can just dismiss the thing and say, no, I don't want to. With Apple, you don't have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
That upgrade is pushed to you. It's installed. That's it. And those upgrades wiped out any jailbroken phones. No longer jailbroken. So, there's this huge gaping hole. And these states and these federal places keep trying to do this crap with Google, and they ignore Apple.
How many states?
I don't recall how many states it is. And if the microphone wasn't in a way, I'd try and search it. But I know it's several states. I think it was up in at least the teens. So, that's a significant number of states trying to do this.
Yeah.
And, why are they doing it? Because it's Google. Google knows too much about you. Apple is about privacy. I've said before, the difference between the two. Yeah, I'll say it again and again and again until somebody proves me wrong. The difference between the two is Google is rather upfront with what they do.
Yeah, they let you know, hey, we're tracking you.
Apple is not so much upfront.
Mm-hmm.
And sooner or later somebody's going to actually realize that. And they're going to stop with this whole, Apple is so great with privacy and protection. And that's Apple's argument with the idea of this. I mean, most tech journalists call it a walled garden.
Yeah.
The iPhone is a walled garden. You can't introduce external things unless Apple's approved it.
Yeah.
So they say, well, it's all about safety and privacy. That's why we do this. And you look at our App Store, and we don't have all of the problems that Google does with viruses and all this. They have them. They have those problems.
Yeah.
But just like everything else Apple does, it's all shoveled under the rug. It's done with a veil of secrecy so people don't know. You could be using an app, and then you go to use it again a day later, and it's wiped off of your phone, and there's no notification as to why. Why? Well, because Apple found something and they decided they're going to take it down.
Mm-hmm.
And not only did they take it down, they took it off your phone. Everybody would be up in arms if Google did that. They'd be going crazy. Oh, we can't allow that. That's not right.
Yeah.
It's just insane.
Just because it's Apple.
Yeah, exactly. It's Apple, so we'll allow it.
Mm-hmm. Well, just ignore it.
Yeah, something's got to change. Sooner or later, somebody's going to realize that, you're too pro-Apple. You're pro the big bucks. Apple's paying for you to be elected. Yeah. Got it. Understand. Unfortunately, nothing's ever going to happen until that revolution comes that I keep saying is going to happen before my time's up. Just hope for your sake it's a peaceful revolution.
I think it will be. I'm just optimistic.
I hope so. I'm not counting on it. But we'll see what happens.
I think what happened back in January was just a little blip. It was nothing.
Well, the problem is Trump got people very polarized.
Mm-hmm.
And, sooner or later, it's going to come out. And sooner or later, there's going to be a quality candidate that actually tries to make changes.
Yep.
Whether it ends up turning things more violent is, something to be seen.
Yeah.
I think Trump was an attempt at a revolution.
Bernie was an attempt at a revolution?
No. Bernie Sanders is very much... He's very much a typical politician. A lot more than you may think.
Yeah.
But Trump being a non-politician was an attempt at a revolution.
I think we had a quality candidate last year, but he got beaten out by just about everybody. That would be Andrew Yang. He's like Trump. He's not a politician, and he's had all this big talk like Trump.
Yeah. I don't know. It remains to be seen. I mean,
I think he's got a future. He's got a good future ahead of him.
Sooner or later, the major party, some major party, or maybe a brand new party, is going to put somebody up there that's...
brand new party.
It's been attempted multiple times. The problem is,
yeah,
you just don't have the backing behind it.
But in the off chance you do, then, well, that'll split the vote, and every time a third party splits the vote, then, well, that leads to the other guy winning.
Yeah, and one of the claims is the first George Bush, that's how he lost to the second election. It's because his vote was split.
And a lot of people say that's how Al Gore lost.
Yeah, possibly.
And it's pretty freaking obvious that's why Woodrow Wilson won his first election.
Yeah. But, some kind of revolution is going to come. It has to, because we can't keep just paying these people more and more just to be figureheads, which is really all they are at this point. They don't do anything. We don't really need new laws. You look at the no texting law. It's not necessary in New York State. Why? Because there's a law stating that you can't drive and be distracted by something.
Yeah.
So technically speaking, when you're driving down the highway in New York State, shoving that Whopper in your mouth, you're breaking the law because you're distracted. You're not focused on driving.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't really truly need the texting law.
Yeah.
But, they did it because it was very specific.
Because technically the law was there already.
Yeah. It just wasn't specific.
Mm-hmm.
And, they needed something to do to make sure that they got reelected.
Yep.
So, they just keep making more and more laws.
Which,
so
of course,
these
they
police
will.
officers have to, they have to remember more and enforce more. And, we're not doing things in a smart way.
Mm-hmm.
We're just paying these people more and more money so they can do things like, not pass a budget.
So they can get bribed more and more by corporations.
Yeah. There's a reason that they go into office worth a couple of $100,000, and then 10 years later, at $100,000 a year salary, they come out, worth $20 million.
Mm-hmm.
It's not because they're, making all that money from, just their salary, because 10 years, $100,000 is $1 million.
That's not how far they're upping their salary.
Yeah.
Sure, they're increasing their salary by quite a bit.
I understand that, they get money for being on committees and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not getting that much.
Yeah.
And it really, truly is getting to the point where the only way that we can actually survive as a country is to wipe out all of this crap. Make it so that, being a politician isn't about becoming rich.
Mm-hmm.
It's about what it used to be, which is representing the people.
Representing their viewpoints.
Representing the constituents that elected them.
Mm-hmm.
Sooner or later it'll happen. Sooner or later.
Give them time.
All right, folks, so we've gotten through quite a bit tonight. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And, as I mentioned, our listenership isn't all that great, and it's not really growing. If you could pass this around, pass the link to your friends. Or
spread the word.
Spread the word. Tell them about us. Hopefully you're having fun.
Hopefully 50 years from now we'll have a bit of an audience.
I hope it's before then, because I'm not going to be around here in 50 years.
You will. You'll make it to 100.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, folks, so...
Good night.
See ya.